manipulate it. Right? I'll give you an example. Ibn Shihab, who's one of the fuqaha of Medina, brilliant scholar. He's in most of the hadith transmissions. He's from the Rijal of al-Bukhari. He was a mujtahid. He was in Medina, and he was one of the teachers of Imam Malik. He was in Medina, and a man came into the masjid, and he said, As-Salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah, As-Salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah. Imam Ibn Shihab went up to him and he said, Salamu alaykum, where are you from? And the man said, Al-Iraq. And he said, where did you get that two taslima from? And the man said, عن النخعي عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أو عن ابن عباس لقد رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. And he gave the hadith with the isnad. Not many people can do that. Not many people can do that. But he gave the hadith with the, and Ibn Shihab said, لا أعرفه. I don't know that hadith. And so the man said, the Iraqi said to him, MashaAllah, تحفظ حديث رسول الله كله? Do you know all of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ? And Ibn Shihab said, no. And he said, ثلثي? Do you know 2/3? He said, no. He said, نصفه? He said, نعم. He said, I know half of them. And then the man said, اجعله في النصف الآخر. Put it in the other half that you don't know. Now, the point, and then the beauty of that story is that Ibn Shihab ضحك. It made him laugh. In other words, he wasn't an egotist. He thought, you got a good point there. But Abu Bakr Ibn al-Arabi uses that story as a proof for the transmission in Tirmidhi that the Prophet Aisha said when the Prophet ﷺ used to give his taslima, he only did it one time and to the right. He used to say As-Salamu alaykum one time, and that was all. He didn't go to the... That is the position of the Maliki madhab. Now the hadith has some weakness in it. But Imam Malik said, even though there's some weakness in the transmission, everybody in Medina does that. And these tabi'een saw the Sahaba doing it. And these are ulama. So this is the amal of the people of Medina. And even though I know there are sahih hadith that said he used to do it twice, I have a hadith that says he did it one time on Aisha, and even though there's some weakness in it, the amal of Ahl al-Madinah strengthens the hadith for me. So his usul said, no, I'm going with one taslima, because I'd rather take 1,000 tabi'een who saw 1,000 sahaba praying a certain way than take a narrative of the ahad. And that's a Maliki position. Imam Shafi'i said, no, I've got a sahih hadith, and I don't agree with Imam Malik about the amal of Ahl al-Madinah. He just doesn't consider it an authoritative. He does in some things, but not in all things. Because all the imams consider it authoritative in certain things. So here's an example where you say, where did you get that taslima from? You know, the hadith right there. And then you say, well, there's a hadith in Tirmidhi. They say, no, that's a weak hadith. So why are you following a weak hadith when there's a sahih hadith here? Well, because of the amal of Ahl al-Madinah. The amal of Ahl al-Madinah, you know, here's a hadith sahih, and you're telling me the amal of Ahl al-Madinah? This is an usuli difference. And Imam Malik is an imam by ijma'. And the ummah has always agreed that he was rightly guided. In fact, there's a hadith that says that in the end of time, not in the end of time, that there will come a time when people will strike their camels looking for somebody in the east and the west. They'll look for somebody of knowledge, and they won't find anyone more knowledgeable than the alim of Medina. And Ibn Uyayna and all the muhaddithin said, we used to interpret it to mean Malik radiallahu anhu. So even Imam Suyuti in his Khasais al-Nabuwa puts that hadith as a proof of the Nabuwa of the Prophet, that he mentioned Imam Malik would come. Right? And I'm not, trumpeting the horn of the Maliki madhab. I'm not. Because they're all, as far as I'm concerned, they're all equal. Wallahi. And I say that. Qalban wa qaliban. All the madhab are equal in my estimation. They're all rightly guided. I don't have anything to say about any of them or say, this one's better than that one. No. I became Muslim through Malikis, and then I went and studied with Mauritanians. That's why I'm Maliki. Sheikh Nuh is an American from the West Coast who became Muslim with Syrians who were Shafi'is, and he became a Shafi'i. Had it been reversed, I'd be telling you stories about Imam Shafi'i instead of Imam Malik, and right? It's simple as that. So there's no ta'assub, there's no point of saying, no, this is the right way and there's no other way or something like that.